1 week ago, following a lackluster first half by his Huskies against Villanova, UConn head coach Gino Auriemma made sure everybody knew he was not very happy.
I told you guys we sucked on defense. You didn't want to believe me.
UConn responded to the Hall of Famer by tightening things up on the defensive end and outscoring Villanova by 25 in the second half en route to a 90-52 victory.
Our offense is going to improve, and that second half was a big part of what our offense could look like.
Tonight, UConn faces their first ranked opponent of the season as they host number 18 DePaul at Gamble Pavilion. And we're taking you right up to tip-off on the UConn women's basketball pregame show. And it begins right now. It is Gamble Pavilion, home of the UConn Huskies, and the site of tonight's matchup between two ranked teams, number 4 UConn and number 18 DePaul. Tip-off coming your way, bottom of the hour, right here on SNY. As we say hello again, everybody, welcome to the UConn women's basketball pregame show presented by Cadillac. Gary Apple once again alongside Kara Walters. UConn getting set to play their final game of the 2020 calendar year at a significant test tonight against a very solid DePaul team that is already knocked off, Kara, the 9th-ranked team in America, the Kentucky Wildcats. And so let's begin right there, and especially defensively for UConn, because we heard Gino a moment ago, and at the start of the season, Gino said that his team defensively, specifically the fact that they don't talk and communicate defensively, could hurt them. But in the second half against Villanova, it was a different story. And why was that the case?
He doesn't hold back, does he?
He does not, no. Always entertaining.
We suck on defense. Okay, Gino,
Yes.
We got you loud and clear. The second half of that Villanova game, a much improved UConn team. Now, theoretically, this team should get better on defense as they gel together. It's a very young team, and communicating and getting that chemistry takes a little time, right? So theoretically, as time goes on this season, we have to cut them some slack. They'll get a little better. However, some good things against Villanova. The spacing, the hands up. You hear all the time. Keep those hands up from Chris Daly. And the rotation. They did a really good job. Olivia Nelson-Adota. Now, if you go to a UConn practice, you see there is a line down the center of the court. She has to get all the way over as the post player to that spot to be in great help position. So she does a great job being in the middle and taking up space, and the team communicating and rotations on defense, right? They had better rotations, and they went to zone, right? We just showed you zone.
Yep.
They went to zone in the second half, and he's typically not a zone team, but he's noticed that this season that might be the way they need to go, at least early on, so that zone helped them be successful.
Well, we saw the fact they shut down Maddie Siegrist in the second half, right? One of the top players in the country, one of the top scorers in the country. She had 13 in the first half for Villanova, but was held to just 2 in the second half. And one of the things we have really seen early on here from UConn, their ability to turn defense into offense. How important is that to their success?
It's going to be very important tonight, right, against a DePaul team that likes to run as well. But that's their bread and butter right there, especially when you have Paige Beckers out front. Everyone's contributing. They like that fast game, right? They don't really like the half-court set. They have the ability to trap the ball extremely well. We saw that press the other night was just tremendous. So they're an active young team, and when they can get out and go, that's what they want to do. They don't want to sit back in a half-court set, and they're dangerous. So they have to rebound so they can go. And it'll be interesting some kind of the shots DePaul will take, because you don't want to give UConn the ability to get the ball and go down the other end, because they get quick possessions.
I love the fact that it took just about 3 minutes into the show until Paige Becker's name was mentioned, because everything really, in many ways, revolves around Paige Beckers and her ability to see the floor and get out and spot open teammates. As we welcome in Marino right now. Maria, you spoke with Gino yesterday. I know that. What did he say about his defense and how it manifested itself in the Villanova game and how it can do so moving forward?
Well, he joked that standing around and yelling miss worked pretty well. But in all seriousness, he said anytime they're going to play man-to-man or switch things up, it's going to be a challenge, because his players need to grow up a little bit. And they knew that coming into the season. It really wasn't a surprise. They knew that their players only had so much experience to work with and only have played so much at this level. And they're just inconsistent. You know, sometimes they play just fine, and other times it's a struggle. And, you know, they really don't have time to figure this out because they are going to face the toughest opponent offensively that they have all season. He's actually looking forward to the practices following this DePaul game so they can sharpen things up. But for now, the key is they have to convert on that offensive end because defensively, they can only do so much. He called their defense a work in progress, and he said that's what you say when you hate what you have.
he also said he's going to try to be nicer in the new year, right? And not harp on the things they're not doing and recognize the things they are doing well. See in just a little bit, Maria, you know, the upperclassmen have been a key to UConn's 5-0 start so far this season, and one player in particular is the Big East preseason player of the year, Kristen Williams. And after the win last Tuesday, Gino very complimentary of his junior guard.
This was another all-around good game by Kristen. Not just a shot the ball well kind of game. You know, a get to the basket game, a rebound game, you know, a lot of really good stuff. And, you know, so when the three of them are able to do what they did, that just takes a lot of the pressure off everybody else.
Well, she's averaging a career-high 17 points, 6 points per game, 17.6 points per game so far this season, shooting it at just under 50% from the field, and that goes along with career highs in rebounds and assists. So when it comes to Kristen Williams, and you look at the way she has taken this, I don't even know if you call it a baby step, maybe a little bigger than a baby step forward so far in her junior year. What do you think's behind that?
Well, first of all, it's not the new year yet.
No.
So I think Gino's going to yell a lot
a little bit
tonight because
yes.
that's his New Year's resolution to be nice. But this game's not quite there yet. We saw Kristen in the first couple games rather slow, right? She's the senior leadership. No seniors on this team, so she plays like the senior leader of this team. When she's aggressive, she's so much better. When she looks to penetrate to the basket, good things happen. When she's aggressive off the backboard, good things happen. She tends to stand around and watch. Well, that's not her role this season. She cannot do that. She needs to take the bull by the horns and get this team going. So she's the energy to the team, and when she's aggressive, when she's rebounding, when she's making things happen, distributing the ball, so much better. But now it's about, and we throw this word around a lot, Gary, right? Consistency. She needs to put back-to-back-to-back games together to show her leadership and to show her improvement. It'll be interesting tonight because this is the first-ranked team that UConn's played. It'll be interesting how the freshmen react to that, and it will be interesting how Kristen, as a leader, pulls them all together. Because remember, this is a DePaul team. They were up by 27 last year, right?
Yes.
They cut it to 3 in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
So when that type of thing happens, who's going to pull the team together and say, come on, let's get this done?
Yeah, you've got to count on your upperclassmen in those situations.
Yeah.
UConn ended up winning that game by 10, but it did get very dicey there in the fourth quarter. And when you look at the fact that she had 7 assists in her last game as well, you and I have spoken about the fact that she needs to not just be a scorer, but a facilitator. Right. And she is a big, strong guard. And that ability to knock people down and bull her way to the basket, that does what to the UConn offense?
Ooh, huge. She's that strong guard. Like you said, she can get to the free throw line a lot, right? All she has to not do is knock down a few people a couple times, and then guess what? The help is coming to her, and she dishes it. So those opportunities are there. When you're aggressive, it helps you become a good passer, right? Because people have to commit to you, and you want her to go to the free throw line, right? So we want to see Kristen Williams at the free throw line using her size in there, and that you become a better passer when you're more aggressive.
And when you make your shots, it does open up the floor for you. She's made 6 of her last 11 from beyond the arc over the course of her last couple of games. And so Kara and I just getting going here on the UConn women's basketball pregame show. Olivia Nelson-Ododa, she has been tremendous in the paint for UConn. Going to take a look at why that should continue tonight against DePaul. That is just ahead. And as we head for a break, going to get a look right here at Avina Westbrook. She's getting set to go. She had her best game as a Husky, according to Gino Auriemma last time out. Going to examine what was behind that as well and how she can build upon that again tonight when we come back from New York City in just a moment. Well, there is Olivia Nelson-Ododa warming up for tonight's game. She's averaging over 17 points a game this year, also shooting it at over 68% from the field. And right now, here is an all-access look at the junior big for UConn.
I'm Olivia Nelson-Ododa. I'm a junior from Georgia, and I wear number 20. It is an honor Just to be able to be a part of a historic program like this, and just to be one of the people that, you know, can put on a uniform and be able to play in the games is nothing but an honor. And just to like see the history and the players that have worked so hard to like develop this program at the point where it is now is incredible to me. Matilda. Love that movie. I remember watching it as a child, and then I remember reading the book too. And it's a good movie. Like, you can't go wrong with Matilda. Definitely dog person. I've had 4 dogs growing up. A Rottweiler, a mini pit bull, a black lab, and a German shepherd. Big dogs. I think first and foremost, just to continue to work on my leadership, and I think that's where it starts. You know, I can't get better as a player myself if I'm also not capable of leading my teammates and helping them. And so I think having that as a main focus, and then also just remembering our goals and remembering, you know, why we're here is really a big priority, not only for myself, I think, but for our whole team.
So I would think you get along well with Olivia Nelson-Ododa. She's a dog person. You've got how many running around? Your 4 dogs running around you, and they're big and little, right?
Yep.
So one of the things, you know, that has made her so effective, her ability to score the ball. Yeah. She's made 30 of her last 37 shots over the course of the last 4 games. Tonight specifically, how do you expect for her to get her work done?
Oh, it will be an interesting night. Honestly, DePaul's a small team, right? So people like me, if I was coaching, I go inside to the big girl, big girl, big girl. Now, Gino has said there is a dilemma in coaching players like that, right? So if DePaul's all little, you pull somebody like Olivia Nelson-Ododa out. So she's a tough matchup to defend people. So what will Gino do? Will he just go with the, hey, let's not worry about what we're not, and let's pound it inside with what we've got? Or are we going to be a little concerned that the matchups are bad? Maybe we go zone. Can we try to get Olivia Nelson-Ododa involved more? So it'll be interesting. Gino's the one who said that. I was interested to hear that. He said that last week. It's sometimes he doesn't know whether to pull back and play him less because we're going guard against guard. I mean, this DePaul team is a guard-oriented, run, shoot threes, get out there kind of team. It'll be interested. But me, you know what I think.
Yes.
Pound it inside to Olivia from the beginning tip.
She's spoken. That's what she likes. If you're a big, get the basketball down on the low block.
What are they going to do?
Right. I am in agreement with you. And by the way, this is the best 2-point shooting team in America, UConn. They lead the nation. And not great from downtown, but really good in 2-point land.
Yeah, but because they don't like shooting 3-pointers, they're doing the high percentage shots, getting it inside, driving to the basket. Nothing wrong with the old school 2-point game, right?
You're absolutely correct.
So they're getting it done in the old-fashioned way. Nothing wrong.
And we've got more to come here on our show. Tonight is UConn's first game this season against a ranked opponent. So what must the Huskies do to avoid the dreaded upset? They've never lost to DePaul, by the way, under Gino Auriemma. They look to keep that going tonight. We're back in a moment. Well, there she is, the freshman sensation, Paige Beckers, averaging over 18 points and about 6 assists per game on the season, both team highs. And for more on UConn's matchup tonight against DePaul, let's welcome in our crew calling the game, Ellen Beswick and Meg Como. Guys.
All right, well, good to be back inside Gampel again. And, Meg, let's kind of pick up where we left off at Villanova a week ago. Gino said Avina Westbrook had her best game yet as a Husky. What are you seeing in Avina's play?
Gosh, you know, she did a little bit of everything. 17 points, 8 rebounds. You know, she was involved in the offense. We know she's already the one who's going to come out and take away the opponent's best scorer. So defensively, she's got her role. But the leadership that she's bringing on this team, you know, she's talking in the huddle. She's providing that maturity, which they were hoping she would. And she also brings a level of toughness. And she's teaching that to the young kids.
Yeah, certainly so. And Avina will be needed tonight against this very difficult DePaul team. Also needed tonight, both Aaliyah Edwards and Nika Mule. Huskies will get both back tonight. And for Aaliyah Edwards, she brings a presence to the floor that this team's going to need.
Well, you want to talk about toughness. Yeah, I mean, she brings that toughness and a grit and just a physicality in the lane. You know, DePaul is not a very tall team. You know, they rely on a lot of guards and a lot of movement. They're not going to have an answer for Aaliyah. So it might take her a little bit to get back, having been injured and missed a little bit, but it won't take her long, and I expect her to have a big presence herself.
And we'll see Edwards, we'll see Mule. Aubrey Griffin was suffering from some back spasms, a little limited in shoot-around today. She is on the floor for warm-ups. How much she'll play tonight, we'll find out, Gary.
All right, Alan, we thank you. Meg as well. By the way, Aaliyah Edwards, one of 4 UConn Huskies averaging in double figures so far this season. So we know DePaul can be a dangerous team. As I mentioned earlier, they beat number 9 Kentucky this year. How does UConn battle and go against what DePaul does so well tonight?
Yeah, and very well coached team, and Doug Bruno, who's a really good friend of Gino's as well. But this DePaul team, all guards, they like to run. They're bad statistically in some defensive categories in the nation. However, they do turn over teams 25 times a game, so their pressure can cause some problems for UConn. And then a team like DePaul, who likes to shoot some threes, they like the transition game, they like to run. So here's the other question as a coach, right? I'm going to ask you, Coach Apple.
Yes, I'm listening.
So the other thing is, a running team. UConn likes to run in transition. DePaul likes to run in transition. Sometimes they can speed each other up. You know, does UConn want to slow it down a little bit? Do they want to limit possessions by DePaul? Because obviously DePaul gets a lot of possessions. They're letting a team score an average of 80 points a game. They let Louisville score 116 points. So defensively, not the best team. However, they will pressure you. They'll rush you. You'll turn the ball over. So it'll be interesting. Does UConn stick to their bread and butter and does it matter, or do they slow it down so DePaul doesn't get it?
I think it doesn't matter. UConn plays their game, and they've got Paige Beckers on their side, and there's nobody better in the open floor in the nation than the freshman Paige Beckers. So if I'm Gino Auriemma, and I'm not, he knows so much more about the game than I ever will, but I say go run. And listen, if it doesn't work when you're running, slow it down, pound it inside to Olivia Nelson-Nadota. Let's play basketball. I think that's it, right?
Look at you and I got it all figured out.
We've got it figured out. Let's get a look right now. UConn's upcoming schedule presented by Town Fair Tire. After tonight, UConn travels going to take on the Baylor Bears next Thursday, and then they're back at home to face off against Providence on January 9th right here on SNY. As always, stay tuned to all our social media channels and SNY for the latest updates to UConn's ever-evolving schedule this season. And when we come back on our pregame broadcast, going to get a closer look at how the early evolution of Avina Westbrook in a UConn uniform continues to work. She's coming off that 17-point game last time out. Going to hear from the head coach Gino Auriemma on what she did so well to play well against Villanova. Back in a moment. It's Gary Apple back alongside Carol Walters. We get a look at Avina Westbrook's last outing presented by Cadillac. Her best in a UConn uniform, 17 points and 8 rebounds in that game. Also more assertive from the field. She had 10 shots that she took, and when it was over, Gino spoke very highly of her performance.
When he's at her best, that's how she's playing. You know, she's getting in the lane on drives. You know, she's getting her hand on a couple passes. She's going to rebound a couple balls, you know, and then, you know, she makes a three. It's like, you know, Christmas 3 days early, you know. You know, I think that was her best all-around game since she's been at Connecticut.
All right, so that is Gino on Avina Westbrook. Maria's back with us right now. You've had a chance to chat with Avina. What is she saying, Maria, about the progress she's making?
Her confidence level is just so much higher than it was 5 games ago, especially when you consider how long she went without playing and all the uncertainty of this season. And so she said each and every game, it just feels so great to be out there with her teammates. But she knows she still has a ways to go. She wants to be more consistent on defense. If she has a particular defensive assignment, she wants to be able to carry that out for 30 to 40 minutes. And on offense, continue to find her shot, but she has been satisfied with how aggressive she's been on offense and also on defense, sort of taking the lead in that communication role and helping her teammates get into a rhythm as well. The key for her, she's been saying it all season, she wants to keep letting the game come to her. She doesn't want to force anything. She also wants to zero in on those few certain things that she needs to do for her team and just get those done night in and night out, regardless of circumstance.
And I've said it before, I say it again, she's coming off 2 knee surgeries, so there is a process here of getting back to full strength. Thank you, Maria. What about her ability to score the basketball? Kara, what impresses you along those lines?
I kind of feel like there's not as much pressure on her because she hasn't played in 2 years and people are kind of slowly, let's see what she's got. And then all of a sudden she's come out like, wow, she can score. She can play a point guard. She can play a forward. She can do a little of everything. I like it. She's taking it off the bounce. She's shooting threes. She's doing it confidently. Even with that knee, she drags us sometimes, Chris Daly will say. You can still see it hurts her. But she's all about the team. You know, some players say they're all about the team. Like, I'm not saying on this team. I'm just saying, like, in general.
Yes.
This kid is really whatever is needed for me, that's what I'm going to do. In that game, her stat line, fantastic. She also had 4 steals to go along with it. Maybe she'll develop into that person, right? Gino's asking, who's going to be that person who will step up if the other team has a great player like Kia Nurse and say, you guard her. Don't let her score. Evina's all up for that challenge.
Yeah.
So not only offensively, she's capable of shooting some threes, which this team is lacking. Hopefully she can get going in that department. And then defensively, maybe she can be the stopper.
And as you say, you've got to buy into the Gino system, which is unselfishness.
Yes.
And that's a huge part of being successful at UConn. So we close in on game time in Storrs, Connecticut. Number 4 UConn facing off with number 18 DePaul. The Blue Demons are in Storrs tonight. We're back to wrap up our pregame coverage in just a moment. Well, Kristen Williams getting set to go against DePaul. She is 2 points shy of 1,000 in her career. As we get a look right now, UConn's starting lineup tonight against DePaul, and no changes here. It's Paige Becker is going to lead the way along with Kristen Williams and then Evina Westbrook. Anna Makarat and Olivia Nelson-Adota, who has been shooting the lights out, looks to keep that going tonight as UConn looks to go to 6-0 on the season. So Kara and I are going to see you back on the halftime show. Right now it's UConn and DePaul, battle of 2 top 20 teams. Enjoy it right here on SNY. Ellen Bestwick, take it away.
A little video art that every Husky fan will love, from the trees decorated in their holiday lights to that beautiful logo at the top of the hill in Storrs. But there's business to be taken care of tonight inside Gamble Pavilion, a matchup of ranked teams, UConn and DePaul, coming up next. After a very brief on-campus holiday break, it's back to work for UConn women's basketball. Tonight, their first matchup against the ranked team in this young season. It's the number 4 Huskies against the DePaul Blue Demons, live from Gamble Pavilion. And hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. With Megan Kulmo, I'm Alan Bestwick. UConn comes into tonight's game 5-0, 4-0 in Big East play. And that number 5 is a good place to start our conversation because their leading scorer wears number 5. It's the freshman Paige Beckers. Through 5 games, what's she brought to this team?
A lot. I mean, the kid has lived up to all the hype. To lead the team in scoring and assists as a freshman, it's a pretty incredible thing to do. I love her poise and maturity. I mean, the pretty no-look pass, she makes her teammates better. Look at the leadership in threading that needle to Kristen Williams. And, you know, she can also get her own shot there, although if you ask her coach, he says she doesn't shoot enough. Nice job using the screen here. Watch that, a nice spin off the defense. The kid is really savvy, really smart, and we've just scratched the surface.
And if you look at some of these numbers, courtesy of Alexa Philippou and the Hartford Courant, Beckers through 5 career games against some of the all-time Husky greats. The kid's doing okay, and she'll have to have a good game here in Gamble tonight. Because the Huskies face arguably their toughest opponent of the season so far, the 18th-ranked DePaul Blue Demons. What are the challenges DePaul presents to UConn tonight?
Well, how much time do we have here? I mean, DePaul is a really difficult team to play against. Impossible to simulate in practice. They play incredibly up-tempo. They turn you over. They jack up tons of threes. UConn's going to have to be really smart and communicate really well defensively and maintain their composure and not lose their minds.
You see some of the numbers. It's always a difficult game when you play DePaul. We'll see how the Huskies fare tonight. They've been outscoring their opponents by 40 points a game through the opening 5. 5. How they fare tonight? Well, tip is coming up next from Gamble. It's UConn and the 18th ranked DePaul Blue Demons next on SNY.
We want to win championships. We hate losing as a freshman group, and just as a team itself, we hate losing. We're really competitive. We want to win every drill, every game, everything. We want to win everything, basically. But I think we're all just looking to do whatever it takes to win. We'll sacrifice points, playing time. We'll sacrifice anything if it means we win at the end of the day, and I think that's really huge for freshmen coming in, just to have that right attitude that we're doing whatever it takes to win and whatever the team needs.
Well, if everything she's doing on the court isn't enough, that attitude, team first, whatever it takes to win, will win your heart for Paige Beckers. She leads the Huskies tonight into their first-ranked matchup of the season. And a look at our starting lineups tonight now, presented by Subaru. Same 5 for the Huskies as every game this season so far. New entrant into the starting 5 for Doug Bruno and DePaul. As, remember, the NCAA granted the blanket waiver for all the transfers to get to play immediately. Jory Allen is a transfer from Indiana. This will be her second game for Doug Bruno and DePaul. And she brings a much-needed size presence into his starting lineup. 35th season in DePaul for Doug. Of course, he was a player there as well. And Gino Auriemma in his 36th season here in Stores, looking for a career win number 1,097 tonight. Underway as the Huskies win the tip.
Composure, the name of the game for UConn right now. And get the ball in the lane.
Down to 10 to shoot. There's Nelson Adota. Quickly triple team, had the ball knocked away. Beckers gets it blocked, but it'll fall out of bounds off DePaul. Huskies ball.
Fortuitous bounce for UConn there.
They reset the shot clock erroneously, so that's the delay. 3 seconds to shoot for UConn. Westbrook. No. Nelson Adota with the rebound, stripped away, and a foul will be called.
Late whistle, too, but from Jeffrey Smith. It looked like a good block. Nice job by Nelson Adota. Like, the arms were straight up. I mean, that's going to be the question. How much can UConn offensive rebound, yet still get back and not give up any transition buckets?
So they will call the foul on Deja Church, senior from Southfield, Michigan. And Olivia Nelson Adota will shoot free throws to try and get the first points of the ball game.
Olivia Nelson Adota, 2 free throws.
Bruno is irate.
I'm trying to figure out if they're shooting or if it's on the floor, and I think the officials are having that discussion.
I don't think anybody knows what's going on right now.
All right, foul was called on the floor, so Huskies inbound with a 20-second shot clock. Nelson Adota will have a decided height advantage in the paint in this one. Makarat. Nelson Adota has the rebound knocked away from her. It's off Olivia, last touch though, and DePaul will take over.
Nelson Adota could have a field day inside. DePaul smart defensively, does a lot of switching. UConn has to communicate.
Beckers with the steal. And the first points of the game to Paige. There's Sonia Morris, leading scorer for the Blue Devils. The Blue Demons, excuse me. That's that other team. Inbound, Nelson Adota. That kick is going to be an important part of the recipe tonight for the Huskies, too.
UConn can't get stuck standing around. They've got to move.
Kristen Williams drives, and there is the 1,000th point of her UConn career.
I like the way she got it, too, being aggressive, going to the rim.
from outside off the mark. Kristen Williams gets the deflected rebound. Church with the miss. Marquardt drives, feeds Westbrook. And going to be a foul call. That's going to go on Nelson Dodota, her first.
Their nice aggressive take. No weak side help.
And the funny story, of course, is that Kristen was on her way to a layup at the end of the Villanova game for the 1,000th point when Gino called the timeout to sub in. And neither one of them had any idea that that was what was going on.
Yeah, they're not into the individual stats. Better to get it at home anyway.
Lexi Hells missed over the top of Nelson Dodota.
You know, she saw the second blue jersey come over, the double team in that low post, and it caused her just to shuffle her feet enough.
Drives, and the defense ran away from her.
Terrific take there by Held.
Lexi Held, the junior, out of Burlington, Kentucky.
Been a much slower pace game than we expected so far.
Westbrook, nice feed to Marquardt. But they'll call the offensive foul.
Westbrook took one right to the nose. You know, DePaul's such a good team, defensive team. I mean, that's just a smart play. They're so savvy. Everyone knows where the ball is. They communicate well. Nice job stepping in to take that charge.
Foul was on Westbrook. Missed everything by Church. Beckers kicks. Kristen Williams. Off the side, that'll go off of Anna Marquardt, and another empty possession for the Huskies. As one of the keys Gino talked to us about earlier today was they can't afford a lot of empty possessions. And that's already 5 in the ballgame.
Yeah, maybe some nerves, I think, early on, knowing that they're playing their toughest competitor yet.
Held, has it knocked away. Westbrook, I think, got the first hand on it. Nice feed to Kristen Williams.
Nice fast break by UConn. Starts with their defense.
Morris. Got it. That's a 3. Sonia Morris.
Those are the shots that DePaul needs to make.
Beckers has it knocked out of bounds.
See, nice hands, good defense. You see all those white jerseys moving up the floor. The nice dish at the last minute. And finished by Williams. Nice fast break.
If they call a foul on that on the floor, that was on Lexi Held, so that's her first. Beautiful pass. Marquardt couldn't drain the shot.
A couple threes. UConn's been wide open. They got to make that.
Errant ball off of Avina Westbrook.
And she's like, oh, why did I touch it? The official, Joe Vasili, was about to call it UConn basketball, but she tipped it.
Well, interesting start. Now the Huskies go a little front court pressure of their own.
You hear Bruno yelling, move the ball.
10 to shoot. There's Church, spins. No. That ball will go off Nelson Dodota and out of bounds and will stay in the hands of DePaul with 20 now on the shot clock.
Those are those turnovers that just drive you crazy. Just mistime the rebound. Don't get a hand, you know, a real strong handle on the ball.
Here's Deba Kelja into the game for DePaul. She's their second leading scorer. Where's 23? Gets it inbounds. Long-range shot put up and made by the freshman, Darion Rogers.
You got to have a hand in the face. They will launch a three from anywhere on the floor.
2 of 3 from long range for DePaul so far. Beckers, yes, that's a 3. First made 3 in 5 attempts for the Huskies. Driving all the way to the rim. Morris couldn't get it to go. Nice ball movement. Williams couldn't drop it in. Rogers heaves it up again for 3.
Hey, with streaky shooters, when they start 2 for 2, as a defender, you got to get a hand in the face.
Whistle and a foul inside. I believe that's going to be on Bekelja and lead us to a timeout. 2-point lead for DePaul over UConn halfway through quarter number 1 here in Stores. Find out on how to get more on how to get your fan cutout. Visit UConnHuskies.com.
You see Nelson Ododa. What I love about this, look, see, here's Nelson Ododa, right? So look at this. It's a competitive game. Look, all right, getting a little, I like, you know, the coaches are best friends. These programs respect each other, but you know it's a different kind of game. Everyone's more, got a little bit more
chippiness
stuff going on. Yeah.
Gotta like it. So 2-point lead for DePaul. Huskies inbound the ball. Had a 20-second shot clock to start with. Beckers. No. Huskies have struggled shooting in this one so far. DePaul has been red hot. They'll turn it over there on the errant pass.
It's a rare turnover for DePaul to. That was kind of an unforced one. Yeah, UConn was there playing defense, but it was a bad pass. And they don't waste opportunities often.
UConn 33% from the floor, 16% from 3 so far. DePaul 40% from the floor, 75% from 3. Inbound to Nelson Ododa, double teamed, spins, gets to a triple team, up and in and a foul.
She just continues to impress with her ability to have poise. Look, she feels where the defense is. That little split second made all the difference. Now, yeah, her coach would say you got to make that first layup. Well, she stayed with it, puts it back up and in, makes the free throw, and draws that foul.
Adds the bonus shot, so Huskies go into the lead in this one. Foul was on Jory Allen for DePaul. From outside, another one, Bekelja.
I mean, they run such good offense. They read the defense. They're going to score a lot of points.
Westbrook drives and makes it.
Really nice take by Avina Westbrook. She knew there was no weak side help. She got a step on her defender and took it hard. DePaul not known as a great half-court defensive team.
Rogers. I think that's the first one she's missed in the game so far. Beckers with the long rebound. Good kick to Makarov. No.
Those are the threes that you really have to make to really make the defense pay, and it's such a confidence boost for your team.
It's a momentum thing, too, in the game.
Good kick.
5 to shoot. Westbrook gets fouled.
See, Avina really wisely. Watch Westbrook on the right wing. She catches the ball. There's no weak side help down there. That's when you know you just got to take your defender to the rim.
So that was the second foul on Lexi Held for DePaul. That's big, still in the first quarter.
That's a big play for Held to get her second foul. She'll have to sit down now for most of this first half.
So Avina Westbrook played what Gino called her best game in her time at Connecticut, at Villanova a week ago. She said, I knew it was going to take time. I haven't played in a couple of years. Gets the free throws there, and it'll be Nika Mule, the first sub into the game for UConn. Anna Makarat will come out. So after missing 3 games with the foot injury, getting the added rest time over the holiday break, here is Mule into the game now for the Huskies. Morris will draw a foul on the floor. Kristen Williams will get called for that. That will be her first. Long range from outside. Allen off the mark. Westbrook skies for the rebound. Nice inbounds pass to Nelson Adoda, who got a handle on it and dropped it in. Morris over the top of Nelson Adoda after the screen, caught Kristen Williams up, missed the shot. Beckers feeds Nelson Adoda, knocked away. She gets it back, puts it in.
Nice pass by Beckers, getting into the lane and finding an open teammate. And Olivia has just been relentless on the boards.
Church drives and misses, fights for the rebound. Body's on the floor, that'll be a tied up ball. It'll stay with DePaul on the possession arrow.
This young freshman is so good of getting in the lane and finding the open teammate. Good active hands defensively by DePaul, but Nelson Adoda stuck with it.
Nelson Adoda way out by the free throw lane, stays with Rogers and gets the block.
Good timing there by Nelson Adoda defensively. It's not an easy assignment for her, but showing the lateral quickness and defensive prowess.
14 to shoot for DePaul. Morris will pull up. Beckers is called for the foul.
Gino Auriemma just screamed, why? You know, you bail them out when you commit that foul. Yeah, that was just, she knew it. She knew she shouldn't have done it.
So the first on Page sends Sonia Morris to the free throw line. Morris is third in the Big East and 22nd in the nation in made field goals so far this young season. Junior from St. Louis leads her team in scoring and comes in after being named the Big East Player of the Week for the action of a week ago. Drains them both. Shot clock off, 20 seconds to go in quarter number 1. Nelson Adoda from Mule. And a fight for the rebound. Will be a foul called on the floor.
I mean, they could throw it to Nelson Adoda every single time down court. And if they continue to double and even triple team, she's a good enough passer where she'll kick it out. And she can get them into a world of hurt foul-wise.
Yes, and just did. Jory Allen just picked up her second. So Held with 2, Allen with 2. She'll come out of the game. And Kendall Holmes, the freshman, will come into the game. And Nelson Adoda at the free throw line trying to make him pay.
I'm not helping. Hey, guys.
Missed them both. Try to get it inbounds to a running Bekelja. Pass too far. Turnover by DePaul. Huskies ball, 5 seconds to go in the quarter. Beckers to Westbrook. Shot way off the mark. And that will be how quarter number 1 will end. Well, not the greatest start shooting for the Huskies, but they lead by 4 at the end of 1. Our poll question is presented by Subaru. Which UConn undefeated team is the greatest in program history? I mean, this is kind of like asking you to pick which of your children is your favorite. But that's what we're asking you to do. So SNY.TV, SNY.TV/vote game, and we'll check out how you feel later on in the telecast. Let's check out Como's Court Vision now, brought to you by Yale New Haven Health.
Well, you know, we talk a lot about how Gino says he wants Beckers to shoot more, right? So there's Paige Beckers. There's 5 seconds to go in the quarter. For flying up the court. Okay, great screen right there. Okay, now Gino wants her to shoot the ball. Then why does she pass it to Avina Westbrook, right? And you see Gino's reaction. And that's what he's, you know, you get to set a screen for the kid and take the ball, take the shot, or dribble penetrate. Now I guess you can sit down and think about it for a moment.
Yeah, so Paige will take a seat on the bench. And it will be Aaliyah Edwards who goes into the ball game for UConn to start the second quarter. Huskies by 4.
Oh, she was wide open. They missed her.
Mule missed. Nelson Adota with the rebound. Nice drive.
Terrific move by Nelson Adota. It's the poise and the patience. She slowed things down a half a second. Perfect play.
Way outside. Shot misses. Long rebound picked up by Allen. That'll be Rogers. Not hesitating at all for the freshman to launch the 3-ball. Inside, Nelson Adota will get fouled.
So watch how Nelson Adota, like she catches the ball, you saw just a split second, let the lower defender, see 21 went flying by. The key as a post player, when you catch the ball, is to feel where the defenders are and move accordingly.
Darion Rogers called for the foul for DePaul. Westbrook left alone. And going to be a foul called underneath as Aaliyah Edwards went flying.
Yeah, she got pushed in her back.
It'll be Sonia Morris who gets called. That'll be her first. So we talked about the Huskies having a size advantage with Nelson Adota. Now with both Edwards and Olivia in the ballgame.
Be interesting if they can exploit it offensively and if it'll have any repercussions on the other end of the floor.
Mule. Outside, Williams. Yes, that's for 3.
I guess you could say finally.
The 3-ball has been hard to come by for the Huskies in this one. That shot missed. Edwards with the spin. Just would not fall.
That's tough to try to get it over the front of the rim. That's why the backboard is there.
That will be a block called on Nika Mule.
Look at the spacing here, the nice screen on the ball. You see the Mule, the freshman comes in, and then nice kick. That's what's so good. If you drive to the lane, DePaul, a good team, defensive team, they're going to swarm to the ball. A really smart kick from the freshman Mule outside to Williams, and nice to see UConn finally knock down a 3.
Yeah. 2 of 11 from 3 for the Huskies so far. So Mule and Nelson Adota go to the bench. Olivia leading the way for the Huskies with 9 points and 7 rebounds. Into the ball game for UConn, Paige Beckers goes back in, and Aubrey Griffin into the ball game. Aubrey was suffering from some back spasms yesterday, was a little bit limited in today's shoot-around. Gino told us she was going to be a game-time decision. The decision is, get in there and do your thing. Nice pass. And Beckers drains the three.
Really good play there by Aubrey Griffin. Perfectly timed kick.
Morris with the quick three ball. Misses. Rebound, though, by DePaul. Nice pass from Kayla Caudle into the ball game. Edwards, yes.
Nice pass, 2 plays in a row. Aubrey Griffin with a perfect pass. Nice finish by Edwards.
Rogers will throw it up over Edwards. Front rim. Church. Left hand, that won't go. This time Edwards gets the rebound, threw it to Westbrook, who had a defender right near her. Now the break, and the ball to Williams. Long shot, long rebound.
Both teams look tired right now.
Beckers kicks it out. Williams. Griffin crashes the boards, but goes out of bounds off of Aubrey. And it'll be DePaul's ball.
Substitutions for DePaul, number 10, Lexi Held. Number 22, Jory Allen.
Edwards, nice, look at where the positioning she gets in that lane. And the nice pass from Griffin away from the defense.
So Lexi Held and Jory Allen both back into the ball game for DePaul, both with 2 fouls. Westbrook. Edwards gets the rebound, tries to go back up with it, and will draw the foul.
I tell you, UConn has been really good on the offensive glass. Look at that. That's just... She's relentless. Aaliyah Edwards, she is so fun to watch.
Second personal, 13 foul.
And the ankle looks fine from what she twisted the day before the Villanova game.
Yep. So the 4th leading scorer for the Huskies at the free throw line. That foul, by the way, the 2nd on Sonia Morris.
DePaul has committed a lot of fouls already here to some key personnel.
Got to make your free throws. Ball knocked away. Fought for. Now it'll be tied up on the floor. Here comes Makarov back into the ball game for Avina Westbrook. Avina 1 of 6 from the floor in the game so far. Ten to shoot for DePaul. Held. Tries to feed inside. Allen with a nice left-hand spin move. There's Edwards. Yeah, 3-second call.
Not the prettiest offense we've seen here tonight.
I think that's a shot that probably...
Yeah, it's being too unselfish, you know?
You'd like Auburn to just go strong to the rim with. 10-point Husky lead. Pass fumbled away. Another tied-up ball. Has the body count on the floor tonight been rather high?
I tell you, they are. And they gets the clap there from Gino Auriemma, and he said, good hustle. Bodies diving. Both teams work so hard. Both are very scrappy.
Game's got a nice intensity to it. Beckers. 4-3.
Paige Beckers.
Paige has been the highlight for the Huskies. Here's Lexi Held driving. Ball's on the floor. More bodies on the floor. Tied up ball. That'll stay with DePaul. Has Held scored? Yeah, she's got 2 points. 1 of 3 for Held, who is one of the top scorers for DePaul. And Church falling down as she missed the inbounds pass. Turnover to the Huskies. So Paige Beckers, the first player in the ball game into double figures. She's got 11, 4 of 6. Shoot. Beckers will get called for traveling. Ball got kind of hung up on her hip as she tried to drive through the defense, and that brings us to the under 5 timeout. Beckers on fire from beyond the arc, 2, 3 of 4 from outside. Man, these games fly by. Already time to talk about the halftime show. Gary and Kara standing by with all the first half highlights and analysis. Plus, we'll hear from Kristen Williams on the best advice she's ever received. That's the UConn women's basketball halftime show presented by Ford. Olivia Nelson-Adota. Gino talked about her and Kristen Williams needing to be rocks for this team tonight. Certainly have.
Well, again, I keep talking about the patience, feeling the defense, getting good position. There, she read where the ball was going, always having her hands ready. She's doing everything that her team needs her to do right now. DePaul is undersized in the post. She's done a really good job of making herself available every possession down court.
And there you see 9 and 7 for Olivia in the game so far. On the bench here, as we come out of the timeout, Aaliyah Edwards on the floor with Aubrey Griffin, Anna Makarat, Paige Beckers, and Kristen Williams. Lexi Held drives and will draw the foul on Beckers. So Held will go to the free throw line. She is third in the Big East in 3-point field goals made. Named the most outstanding player of the Big East Women's Basketball Championship Tournament last spring.
I mean, the kid can score. She had 31 in that game. Yeah. The championship game to beat Marquette.
Second personal foul on Paige Beckers.
She can score in a variety of ways. UConn has done a pretty good job keeping her in check. The 2 fouls she has is probably doing the most damage to her offense. Yeah. She's been on the bench a lot.
Yep. A little bit of foul trouble here that Doug Bruno has to protect in this second quarter.
DePaul's a team that gives up a lot of points, but they're doing really well defensively, I think, in the half court.
5 to shoot. Beckers cut off. Makarat will not get the ball away, and the Huskies will turn the ball over on time for the first time tonight.
Yeah, that was a freshman mistake there by Beckers because she had no idea what the shot. I mean, where the shot clock was, and with 4 seconds, she passed it up to Makarat. I mean, she's got to know on the end line there, you got to shoot that ball. Nice look.
Nice turnaround spin by Jory Allen, who gets the bucket for the Blue Demons. Freshman Darion Rogers, leading scorer for DePaul. Leading scorer for UConn is Paige Beckers. Griffin drives, blocked. Rogers with the block underneath. Griffin gets her own rebound. Shot clock running down, ball never got to the rim. Edwards, oh, what a find on that pass.
I tell you, that's backbreaking for the defense. They did everything they were supposed to do. Really good decision there by UConn.
Morris hit Allen, who could not hit the shot. Beckers finds a lane, high glass, wouldn't fall.
Come on, she's at home. Isn't that supposed to go in?
Yeah. Deja Church, no.
Becker's just twisted her ankle. Tripping over her teammate's foot.
Huskies turn the ball over.
This has been one of the sloppiest games I've seen in a while. I didn't expect this.
Ball stepped on the sideline, so ball turned over to UConn. Aubrey Griffin and Anna Makarov will come out of the ball game. Mira McClain will come in for the first time as we watch Beckers. And here's Olivia Nelson-Adota back into the ball game also. Trying to see if that ankle shows any signs of Beckers.
42. 42. Go. Stay with big. Hey, no, elbow, 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 elbow. Beep. Elbow. Middle.
Nelson-Adota got away with a foul, I thought, there.
10 to shoot. McClain.
Just a little short on that.
There's the kick out to Holmes. That was around and out. Did everything but fall.
DePaul so active with their hands defensively.
We got 3 seconds called because the bodies were still on the floor. And so the turnover by the Huskies. Timeout by Gino and UConn.
This is where he's glad the mask is on so no one can read his lips. And he's saying to her, listen, you're not looking to shoot.
And yet, Beckers is the leading scorer for the Huskies. But, you know, this is, Gino talked about this stretch of games. This one against DePaul, the next scheduled game is against Baylor. This is going to be where he got a chance to get a good measure on his team.
And you know, he's dealt with, you know, special players, and she is one of them. And he's using everything that he's learned in the past with the Diana Taurasi's, the Sue Birds. And the list goes on and on, but he's taking what he's learned from his experience coaching them, and he's going to utilize that with everything he can with this kid to get her to do what she's got to do and what he thinks she's got to do. And you know, she's too unselfish. I mean, that's a problem you can deal with, but that's his job to bring it out of her.
Yeah. And she said that's why she came here. She wanted that kind of coaching. Gets the steal. Westbrook will get fouled. And is that going to be unheld? Yes, that'll be her third.
Yeah, that's a bad foul. Maybe a little frustration, but to commit a foul like that in the open floor, it's just frustration.
So that will send Held to the bench for the remainder of this second quarter, no doubt. Nelson-Adota draws a lot of traffic and will get called for a travel.
Gino's telling Paige, you know, the kids are switching. You got to read that and do something. And that was an unfortunate travel call on Nelson-Adota. It was a tough pass for her. I thought they fouled her, too.
Collapsed on her quickly, didn't they? Here's Morris. Tries to find room. The big step, but the shot falls short. Rebound knocked away. That'll be knocked out of bounds by Allen, and it'll be the Huskies' ball. Well, let's see. DePaul over their last 4. Huskies have made 5 turnovers in the last 4.5 minutes. 2.5 minute scoring drought for UConn. 3 minute scoring drought for DePaul. Oh, McClain got behind the defense. Mira McClain.
Nice pass. A rare breakdown defensively by DePaul to leave an open UConn player in that back line.
Quick shot by Bekelja. She gets the pass back. There's Morris. Good switch. Desperation heave goes in by Rogers. 1 second left. Beckers, no.
At halftime, UConn 38, DePaul 27.
Well, an 11-point lead for the Huskies at halftime, as UConn has limited DePaul to 27 points in the first half. Both teams on a bit of a scoring drought there to end that second quarter.
Gino, a different pace of a game than we expected, I think. But you were talking to Paige Beckers. Can you tell us a little bit of what you were saying to her?
Well, you know, we need Paige to take more shots. So I don't know what the deal is. I don't know what the fascination is to throw it to Liv and have her get triple teamed when there's 3 people in there. So I don't know why you would, you know, pass up a wide open shot to pass the ball. So it makes no sense to me. And, you know, sometimes I just, you know, I see things that I've never seen before. And the pace is good because we've, you know, they average 88. They got 27. You know, so we're making them play at the pace we want to play at. But, you know, offensively, honest to God, I've never seen a worse shooting team at Connecticut since I've been here in 37 years. And, you know, all you can do is keep getting those open shots and hope that we knock them in. You know, that's the best I can tell you.
Well, you held them to 27, and if I remember correctly, at the Villanova halftime interview, you said you were the worst defensive team, but you guys have done a really good job defensively.
Much better. We've gotten a little bit better defensively. I think today we're playing a little bit harder than we played at Villanova. You know, we're competing a little more defensively, and now we just got to turn all those stops, you know, into baskets down at the other end. And you know, we just keep working at it, keep getting good shots, you know, and I got to believe at some point they'll start to fall.
Coach, thanks.
Yep.
Gino Auriemma in our interview with the coach, presented by PC Richard & Son. Well, Huskies shooting 43% in that first half, holding DePaul to 25%. The halftime show is next, an 11-point lead for UConn over DePaul.
It is the UConn Women's Halftime Report. It's brought to you by our local Ford stores. Gary Apple back alongside Kara Walters. We heard Gino on his way off the court there say this was the worst shooting team that he's ever had at UConn. I mean, that's a pretty bold statement right there by the head coach.
He's full of those, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Hey, he might not be wrong, right? He knows he's been around for a while, but not for Paige Beckers, right? She's found the three-point line, that's for sure, and also early and often inside. I think UConn's that answers that question, right? Are they going to go with the bigs and pound it in? Well, they sure did. Points in the paint right there, knocking it inside, 22-8 with that points in the paint, and big cause of that, Olivia Nelson-Adota doing a great job being patient and reading. And what I like is she's doing her work before she gets the ball here. She's getting position. She's working hard. Aaliyah Edwards gets in on the action. So as a post player, it's all about getting position, doing your work before the ball comes in, right? So sure, they're posting, they're sealing, they're getting the ball inside. Both of them do it extremely well. And patience when there's three people are coming to yes. Olivia, right?
Yep.
And she's handling it with the patience or kicking it out, and game plan going well.
Well, the bigs, Olivia Nelson-Adota and Aaliyah Edwards combined for 6 of 10 shooting in that first half, and so UConn leads it by 11 at the break. And again, defensively, holding a team that averages 88 points a game to just 27 in that first half. When we come back, going to hear from Kristen Williams. She had 7 in the first half. We're back in a moment. We are back inside Studio 31. First half stats brought to you by our local Ford stores. And the numbers do not jump off the page. And Karen and I were talking about the fact that this shouldn't come as a huge surprise. Both of these teams have been off for a week, and so a little bit sloppy at times. When we come back, we're going to hear from Kristen Williams, the best advice she has ever gotten. And we're back in a moment. We got a look right now. Kristen Williams' first half. It is brought to you by our local Ford stores. She became the 49th player in UConn history to reach the 1,000-point plateau. Happened in that first half, her first bucket of the game. Here she is on the best advice she's ever received.
My mom and dad have always told me that, like, don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Just worry about your own race, what you're doing, and you just tunnel vision. And I think that's very important because sometimes you can get sidetracked on what other people are doing. And I think it's just very important to just stick in your own lane and go at your pace.
Laser focused. I like that. Good advice from her mom and dad. So UConn leads it by 11 at the half. Karen and I going to see you on the post-game show. Second half action, UConn and DePaul following a quick break.
First matchup against the nationally ranked opponent on the season for the UConn women's basketball team, and they come into the third quarter with an 11-point lead over the 18th ranked DePaul Blue Demons. And back inside Gamble, Alan Bestwick with Megan Kulmo. First half that featured both teams at times struggling to shoot. It also featured some real strong inside presence from Olivia Nelson-Ododa, and a lot of things for the Huskies to work on starting this third quarter.
Well, without question, a lot of things to work on. I'm sure it was a very colorful locker room there at halftime. But I was impressed by Nelson-Ododa and her poise in the lane. And, you know, DePaul, a well-coached team. Watch when the ball comes in. Okay, see there, Nelson-Ododa. Watch as the ball comes in. You see this kid coming from the other side, but 3 blue jerseys converge on her every time she catches the ball. It's really good team defense by DePaul. Now, interesting here, right? You see 8 seconds on the shot clock there on the right side of your screen. Now, Paige Becker's right here. Now, this is what Gino's talking about. She gets the ball. Now, you watch the clock going down, right? 3. Now, why pass the ball? And that's what Gino's talking about. That's an example. You got to shoot the basketball.
So things like that to be worked on in these third and fourth quarters. And Olivia Nelson-Ododa, not just all the good things she did inside, she's drawn 5 fouls in this one too. So Husky starting 5 comes back onto the floor to begin this second half. There's Olivia, 4 of 7 from the floor. And then not all that far from a double-double for Gino Auriemma and the Huskies. It'll be UConn's ball to start this second half. There are 3 DePaul players with 2 or more fouls.
Look at this one-on-one isolation.
Beckers gets it blocked. Paige Church defending and now running. Here's held. Church cut off by Monterat. Held, left alone. Shot off the mark over the outstretched arm of Nelson-Ododa. Ball will be...
They're going to call a kick. What are they calling?
I'm waiting to see. A foul on Westbrook?
Wow.
Okay.
That's bizarre.
All right, so that is Avina's second, and it'll be DePaul's ball. 20 seconds on the shot clock.
UConn sticking in a man-to-man defense.
Held from outside. That is her first made 3 of the ball game.
Yeah, DePaul not shooting well from long range here this evening. Good kick.
Yeah. Shot way off the mark from Westbrook. Here's held. Tries to draw the foul on Monterat. Gets the bucket anyway.
That was a tough shot by Held. Getting hit.
So 5-0 Lexi Held in this third quarter. Nice pass. Nice shot wouldn't go. Nelson-Ododa with the rebound and draws the foul.
Nelson-Ododa doing a little bit of everything here tonight. Working hard to establish position. And here, really nice offensive rebound. Gets herself fouled. Makes it. See, that's the evolution of her growth. When she was a little bit younger, when she got fouled, she wouldn't make it, right? She wasn't as strong as she is now. She worked hard in the offseason, a lot stronger. She's got to work on making those free throws.
So the Huskies get a second chance off the miss. chance to add to the 8-point lead. Beckers. Westbrook, Nelson Adota feeds back to Beckers. Good ball movement. Williams with the open shot. Tipped by Nelson Adota, back to Williams.
Smart play by Nelson Adota to keep that alive.
Nice pass. Shot wouldn't go, but Olivia draws the foul.
And I like a more sign of her growth. Nelson Adota frustrated that she missed that shot. But the nice pass, she wanted to make that. She claps her hands in frustration.
Second personal.
2 of 5 from the free throw line now on the game for Nelson Adota, who with that rebound has gotten into the double-double category for the night. 1 of 2 on that trip. 12 and 10 for Olivia in the ball game early in the third. Church.
Makarov can't keep that kid in front of her.
Beckers finds a lane. No foul, no shot.
She was a little bit too worried about the contact.
Held was out of control. Makarov fights with Rogers for the ball.
Rogers fell on the ball.
Cold shooting here to start this third quarter for UConn.
That's an understatement.
I try to be understated.
Nelson Adota really looking to pass the ball.
Nice touch. Timeout, DePaul. Well, the lead was 11 to start the third quarter. DePaul made a little 5-0 run. Huskies have opened it back up to 11. 7 minutes to go. Quarter number 3, 11-point lead for the Huskies. Olivia Nelson Adota leading the way for UConn tonight.
She's just making really good decisions. I like watching her. She's going to flash up against this defense. She's going to set a screen. Okay, she rolls. And then look, all these defenders come to her. And she wisely kicked the ball out, got it right back, and knocked down the mid-range jumper. And Doug Bruno, you want to talk about a passionate coach. He is fired up, irate at his team. There aren't many people who are more competitive than Doug.
No, it's been a frustrating start to this third quarter for sure for his team after they got the little burst. UConn completely turned it around the other way. And the other thing is that what his team normally does well, they are not doing well tonight. Shooting 30% from the floor. Team normally a 45% shooting team from the floor.
And some of that you got to say, well, UConn has done a good job defensively.
Morris off the mark with that one. She is 1 of 7 from the floor, and she's their leading scorer for DePaul.
They need Sonia Morris way more involved offensively. She wanted her to pass the ball to Nelson Adota.
No, too far.
That was not a wise decision to throw the ball in there.
Church dumps it to Held, who gets it outside. That was Bekelja who dumped it outside. Fight for the rebound. Rogers comes up with it. Bekelja. No. Beckers with the rebound for the Huskies. Kristen Williams will pull it out and reset. Makarov has it intercepted, trying to get it inbounds to Nelson Adota. Church. Yes. That's a 3 for Deja Church. That gets her off the snide. Tonight, she had been 0 for 7 from the floor until that made 3.
And they're a shooting team. They're never going to stop shooting threes, regardless of what happened before.
Kristen Williams.
Nelson Adota got away with a push there.
Maybe a foul called on the floor. And that is going to be... Who's it going to be on? On a Makarov.
First.
Now, Sonia Morris has had a difficult night tonight for DePaul. 1 of 7 from the floor, 1 of 3 from outside. And she's also got a couple of fouls that she's working with here in this third quarter. Held stops.
What a quick take by Held.
Shot just wouldn't drop.
To get around Westbrook.
Leah Edwards into the ball game for UConn. Anna Markarat out. Ten to shoot for the Huskies. Nelson Udoda feeds a breaking Edwards.
Beautiful offense. Good patience by UConn. It was well defended for a long time by DePaul, too.
Morris. Leah Edwards on the floor, fighting for the rebound. Tied up ball. It'll stay with UConn. 10-point lead for the Huskies halfway through quarter number 3. Great cut by Aaliyah Edwards to get on the scoreboard. You can also stay up to date, including any and all schedule changes at UConnHuskies.com. And certainly in this season, that's something you want to stay tuned for frequently. 10-point Husky lead over DePaul. We asked you earlier to vote on which UConn undefeated team you thought was the greatest in program history. Survey says 15-16.
Interesting.
I won't ask you which is your favorite, because that wouldn't be fair. But certainly that was, yeah.
I tell you.
They were a good one.
What, those were some amazing years of basketball.
Nice to have Stewie in the house with us tonight.
Yeah, and she's continued to do the same, you know, to have that same kind of impact on the pro game. It's incredible. Speaking of pro,
the WNBA Rookie of the Year for Minnesota in the house tonight. They've had former UConn great doing the starting lineups in the house each home game during the season. Crystal was on the mic tonight doing her little MC thing. And the foul called on the floor underneath. I think it was on Kristen Williams. Yes. That'll be her second. Shot clock running down. Morris will heave it up. No, she won't. She took steps. So turnover by Bruno's team.
And Bruno, just like Gino was saying, he's saying shoot the ball. You know, sometimes kids have a tendency to overthink things.
Edwards on the nice pass from Kristen Williams.
So strong, so talented.
Way outside for Rogers. Got it. The freshman Darion Rogers has been the hottest thing from outside the arc for DePaul tonight. First player into double figures for the Blue Demons. Edwards fights for position.
Nice kick.
Kristen Williams drains the three.
And the look on Kristen Williams was like, whew, thank goodness. Church gets tangled up. Beckers winds up with the errant pass. Gonna have a foul on the floor. That should be on the freshman Kendall Holmes. So watch when the ball goes inside, right there to Nelson Udoda. The defense comes and a great kick out to Kristen Williams. Her hands went down like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, she'd been 1 of 5 from 3 on the night. That was her second made 3. Kristen now up to 10 points. All 5 Huskies outside the 3-point line. Now Nelson Udoda fights for position in the lane. Tried to touch it into Aaliyah Edwards, a little too high.
And I think Edwards was losing her balance as well, I thought. But it was hit by DePaul, so stays UConn ball.
10 to shoot. Beckers to Nelson Adota. Back to Beckers.
Nice movement without the basketball by Paige Beckers.
Paige up to 13. Nelson Adota on the tough defense inside. That'll be knocked out of bounds off DePaul and a turnover to UConn.
You know, you can't ever get stopped watching the play. It's not enough. Nice job. When the defense turned her back, Beckers was up there. Well, if you stay there, you make it easy on the defense. Nice job to move without the basketball. And Nelson Adota, another good pass.
Turnovers are 11 for DePaul and 10 for UConn. Huskies are 4 of their last 4 from the floor. 3 seconds on Nelson Adota. If you're watching tonight's game, be sure to tag your photos on social media with the hashtag #BleedBlue. Even though fans can't be here with us in the stands, we want to see UConn Nation cheering on the Huskies. Let's see them. 14-point UConn lead. Kelja throws it up, short. Nelson Adota with the rebound. Inside a minute and a half to go in this third quarter. Nelson Adota left wide open in the lane.
Pretty bounce pass from Beckers.
Morris from way outside.
Yeah, their range has no bounds.
Just her second made shot of the night from the floor. Under a minute to go. Edwards has her pass inbounds, deflected away by Rogers, who runs. Edwards gets a hand on the ball, but it goes right back to Rogers. Third time was not the charm. On the fourth attempt, she draws the foul.
Rogers wants that back, although she got herself to the line. Good hustle to stay with it.
That'll be the third on Kristen Williams. And so Makarat will come into the ballgame, but not for Kristen. It'll be for Olivia Nelson Adota. Give her some time at the end of this third quarter. So here is the freshman Darion Rogers, out of the Chicago area. Moved into the starting lineup now 5 games ago. And she is the leading scorer for the Blue Demons tonight. At her 12th point.
She only had 7 threes coming into the game. She's got 3 here this evening.
Half a minute to go. Westbrook, much needed. That for 3 from Avina. First made 3 in 5 attempts on the night for Westbrook. Final shot attempt here by the Blue Demons from way outside. Rogers, why not? No. Rebound, kick out. And before time expires from Bekelja, but off the mark. And the third quarter will end with the Huskies stretching their lead. 14-point advantage to UConn, headed to the fourth. Pretty with the holiday lights. Not so pretty with not a lot of students around it. The rec center here on campus in stores on a very cold late December night as we get ready for the fourth quarter inside Gamble Pavilion. UConn leading by 14 over DePaul. Our game reset is presented by Town Fair Tire. Huskies have very successfully held the leading scorers for the Blue Devils down to the Blue Demons down tonight. while Olivia Nelson-Ododa has been the show inside.
Nelson-Ododa has been terrific for UConn, and it's fascinating to me, though, how neither team has shot well from behind the arc.
14 for 48 from behind the arc combined, the two teams tonight in this game so far.
That's abysmal.
Westbrook on held will be called for a travel as she tried to put the brakes on and change directions.
I think he wanted to put that over his entire head. Good ball movement.
That's Gino yelling good defense. Inside the Church, who got away from Makarov.
Really good ball movement and movement without the basketball by DePaul. Nice patience.
So Church just 6 points. To shoot. Beckers. That was from outside the men's three-point line, I believe. And comes back and gets the steal. Will draw the foul on held.
That'll be 4 on held. She almost didn't go for the steal. And then Held tried, Held did try to get out of the way, knowing that she's got 3 fouls.
But was not able to, and so will be in a somewhat tenuous position here in this fourth quarter with still over 8.5 minutes to go.
But, she's a junior. She's a leader on this team, and Bruno's just got to say, all right, listen, you got to be smart. You can't pick up your 5th.
Yeah, play on through.
Yeah, they need her in the game.
Beckers with misses. 0 for 2 from the free throw stripe tonight. She's done a lot of other things well, though. There's Rogers, dumps it into the lane. Allen kind of hesitated on the way to the rim with a lot of traffic closing in.
Nice look.
Baccarat runs ahead of the pack.
Yeah, Bruno's calling a timeout, not liking what he's seeing.
Turning defense into offense, running the floor. Beckers finds Baccarat for a bucket. Timeout DePaul. Chilly night, top of the hill in Stores. The sign is warm, though. Bathed in warm light. Is that appropriate?
Yeah.
There you go. And just a little bit down the hill from that beautiful scene, Gamble Pavilion, where DePaul and UConn are meeting for the 9th time when both teams have been ranked in the national polls. We expected a little bit of a track meet. We have gotten just the opposite. Kind of been a real grind of a game, hasn't it?
Yeah, I've been surprised. Although I think Gino Auriemma's got to be pretty happy that they've sort of dictated the pace. Bruno wanted this to be up and down, and Gino did not. So I would give that advantage to UConn.
Deja Church missed on the shot, and Beckers with the rebound. Nelson-Ododa on the bench here. Edwards in the ball game. Williams with a nice kick. Westbrook buries the shot. And bodies collide on the floor.
That's going to be a foul for both kids. Well, great kick. Watch that. It actually looked like Edwards pulled Held down.
If that's a foul on both kids, and that's it for Held, she's out of the game.
That's too bad. I think she said she grabbed my arm. That's too bad.
And the officials have already put the ball in play.
And held it still on the floor.
Yeah.
Up on it, Christian.
That will be a foul called underneath on DePaul.
And Gino just screamed at Joe Facili, like, Joe, that's 5 on that kid. She's laughing, knowing, look, I just got away with something here.
Yeah.
And Gino's mad at his home staff, going, you got to hit the horn when someone gets 5 fouls.
Well, they did put the ball in play rather quickly.
This interchange, I think, sort of explains or how this game has gone.
Yeah.
It's just been bizarre.
All right, so it'll be caught up to here. And Held will depart the ball game with 5 fouls, 9 points, 3 of 8 shooting.
2020 has been a strange year.
Yeah, chalk it up to that.
And this would go into that category as strange.
Yeah. We'll go with it.
Go back. Good.
Westbrook again on the feed from Williams. Markarov with the block. Williams got a little fancy trying to get it to Beckers. That'll be a turnover by the Huskies.
Good hustle by DePaul to run back. That was Morris. Did a nice job of coming back and disrupt that play.
From the corner. Shot off the mark, follow-up, own rebound, but Holmes will be called for traveling. Well, Doug Bruno knew his team was going to get a challenge coming into Stores tonight.
You gotta make it look like you're gonna screen, Anna. What the hell was that? Good, good. Roll it!
Nice catch.
Edwards.
Edwards.
That'll put Aaliyah into double figures tonight. 5th Husky.
She looked like a tight end.
That's appropriate this time of year. Markarov has it knocked away by Morris. It'll stay UConn's ball, 13 to shoot. Rogers back into the ball game for Holmes.
Returning for the Blue Demons, number 21, Rogers.
Westbrook with the shot clock running out. Morris stops way off the mark. And that'll go out of bounds off DePaul. Now, Morris has just not had the kind of night that you expect out of her. She is 2 of 12 from the floor for the junior leader of this DePaul team.
And again, give credit to UConn for defensively taking away the other team's best scorer.
So a 10-0 run here for the Huskies over the last 3+ minutes. Edwards from just outside the free throw line, no. Rogers into traffic, draws the foul, and will shoot free throws. That will be on Aaliyah Edwards.
On number 3, Aaliyah Edwards.
And that will be her 2nd of the ball game. Pretty solid night for Edwards when she's been in there.
I thought she's played really well. Coming back after missing the Villanova game, a couple days of practice.
5 of 7 from the floor. 11 points, and that's just her second foul of the ball game. So Darian Rogers shooting free throws here, leading scorer of the game for DePaul. And a substitution stoppage after the made threes for Mir McLean to come into the ball game. Adina Westbrook will head to the bench with 5 minutes to go in the ball game, and Westbrook having a very nice second half after struggling from the floor in the first.
I heard Gino saying, take it yourself. He's talking to Beckers.
McLean rolls, just wouldn't go. Morris gets away from McLean, shot too strong, and McLean comes up with a rebound, feeds Beckers. Beckers splits defenders, couldn't get the shot to fall.
Nice aggressive take to the basket. This is what Gino wants her to do. It's always good to do it in a break opportunity because the defense isn't set.
So that'll be the fourth foul on Darian Rogers and Paige Beckers. There's the score line on the freshman tonight. Got a talking to from the coach a couple times during the ball game. It certainly has put the numbers up on the board.
Single pump. I'm done. One five. Let's go.
You hear Bruno screaming the play on offense, and you need to score.
Rogers for another three.
That was with Mir McLean in her face.
18 points for the freshman Rogers tonight. No other player in double figures for DePaul.
And they got 5 or 6 kids who score in double figures on a regular basis.
Yeah. Kristen Williams gets fouled on the floor. And that'll be on Morris. It will be her third. So this stretch against ranked teams continues for the Huskies on January 7th in Waco when they take on the 7th-ranked Baylor Bears. That one nationally televised. The SNY schedule resumes against Providence. A note on the game at Xavier. That's become a weekday afternoon game. Kind of feel like we're having a little baseball getaway day thing.
Yeah, right?
But as the continuing shuffle of schedule happens, stay tuned. Kristen Williams. Up to now 11 points on the ball game. Morris. Rebound underneath by Rogers. She'll be fouled as she goes back up.
Good hustle by Rogers to track down that offensive rebound and get herself to the line.
Remember last game at Villanova where Olivia got into foul trouble, and asked her about that yesterday and asked her if she'd gone back and watched the tape, and she said she did, and it's just something she couldn't do. She had to avoid the silly fouls. That was just her second tonight. Gary Apple and Kara Walters standing by to give you a full recap of tonight's game, plus hear Gino Auriemma's post-game news conference. It's the UConn women's basketball post-game show coming up here on SNY. Rogers is going to remember her first trip to Gamble, isn't she?
Yeah, terrific night for the freshman.
McLean to Marquardt, shot off the mark. Nelson Adoda with the big reach for the rebound.
It could have gone either way.
McLean, offensive rebound. Third time the charm? No.
Nice pass.
Ran into Nelson Adota. That was Deja Church literally finding the lane cut off, but they'll call the contact on Nelson Adota, who will quickly pick up her second and third fouls in succession. Olivia has set a season high in rebounds tonight, and here comes Paige Beckers out of the game in favor of Nika Mule. 18 points, 6 of 15 shooting, 4 of 6 from 3, 6 rebounds, 2 assists for Beckers. Man, a lot of contact in there, huh? Ooh, wow. Body's fallen. Well, a team that scores nearly 90 points a game has 52 in the final 2 minutes, Meg. What have you liked from the Huskies on the defensive side?
Gino, for all the talk he says about how bad his team is defensively, they did a terrific job on Bruno's club. Just contesting every shot, making it difficult to run offense. And for DePaul to be shooting 26% from the floor and only putting up 52 points right now, it's a credit to really good defense, just getting in your stance and working hard.
Now, there'll be a rematch, of course, conference play. It will come at the end of January out in Chicago. Olivia Nelson-Adota just came out of the ball game. Great scoreline for Liv tonight. 16 points, 14 rebounds, 7 of 11. 3 assists and 3 fouls, and Pieth Gabriel into the ball game for the Huskies. Yes, if there's one thing you can look at on the stat sheet and say the Huskies need to work on, it's free throw shooting. 50% tonight, 9 of 18.
A lot of shooting they could work on. Free throw from the floor, from the three-point line.
Rogers from way outside. Rebound knocked out of bounds off of DePaul, and it will be UConn's basketball. Our drive of the game is presented by Nissan.
Nelson-Adota has just played so well, so strong, so composed.
She has been a rock in these 3 games. A little rocky in the opener against UMass Lowell, but since that second game on, she's been tremendous. Defensive confusion. The shot off the mark, and Makarat will have the rebound for UConn. Inside 2 minutes to go for the Huskies. To shoot. Wilson with the big step, got her own rebound.
Williams with a terrific step through, and then I love the relentlessness and aggressiveness to finish.
Minute to go. And Rogers stepped on the sideline, out of bounds, turnover to the Huskies with 53.9 to go. Post-game show coming up. Gary Apple and Kara Walters standing by. A lot to talk about from this one. I think in some ways, not at all what we expected. In other ways, I mean, nobody expected an easy game tonight. While we might have expected a little higher scoring or a little higher paced game, we did expect a hard fight, and it has been that.
Yeah, both teams are gritty. They're both well coached, you know, and they play hard. And they scout very well. So I think UConn just did a better job of taking away with what DePaul likes to do.
Yeah. Autumn Chasson into the ballgame for the Huskies, looking for her first points in a UConn uniform. They won't be there.
Bruno never stops coaching.
2-minute 55-second scoring drop for his team near the end of the game as Nika Mule gets a hand in and gets the steal. On the run out, nice feed to Gabriel.
That's a pretty fast break by the young group. You hear Bruno, look, 10 seconds and he's still coaching his brains out.
Yes. McKelvin, no. Rebound Gabriel, and that will do it. This matchup between ranked teams will go the way of the home squad as the Huskies pull away from DePaul for a 23-point win, 75-52. The final, the Huskies hold DePaul scoreless for the last 3 minutes and 32 seconds of this ball game and limit the Blue Demons to just 25% shooting from the floor, in moving their record now to 6-0 on the season and 5-0 in the Big East. Well, certainly solid performance by a number of UConn players in this one. And our player of the game is going to be Olivia Nelson-Adota. Player of the game presented by Cadillac. Good pick. Olivia's line on the night, 7 of 11 from the floor. Great shooting, 14 rebounds. And mentioned a season high in rebounds for Olivia Nelson-Adota tonight. And the head coach, Gino Auriemma, joins us now from down courtside. Gino, your team held DePaul to 21.9% shooting in that second half and 25% in the game. What did you think of their effort tonight?
Well, we had to, because I think we shot ourselves in the head, and we missed that too, luckily, so we're all still alive. But I thought we worked really hard defensively, and they missed a lot of shots that they normally make. But when you work hard and you make people, rush a little bit or get, be a little more uncomfortable when they take those shots, because you're going to have nights when you can't make any shots, you got to play great defense every night. That's what I've been trying to preach. Our offense is not going to look great every night because we just got too many guys that don't know what they're doing. And we got a lot of coaches that don't know what they're doing too. I got to be honest with you. When you play good defense, you give yourself a chance to win the game. And today we played really good defense against a team that's hard to guard.
Well, I thought Nelson-Adota was 16 points and 14 rebounds. She's just playing with a poise and a confidence in that low post. So when she catches the ball, she really feels the defense and spins accordingly and gets herself to the hoop. Well, you got to be impressed with her effort.
Yeah, I thought it was a struggle for her in the first half with the double teams. Mm-hmm. We talked about it at halftime, and I thought the second half she was really good. In the second half, she did exactly what you're saying. Catch it, know the double team's coming, be patient, know when you're going to be able to turn and get that layup, and know where to kick it out. And I thought that's when we had a pretty good flow. But Aaliyah gave us some great minutes, for a freshman who hasn't played much, coming off that ankle. She works so hard, and she's a physical presence in there. She hustles. She's on the floor for loose balls, and you're going to have nights where, Paige was a freshman today, and that's going to happen. So all in all, beat a pretty decent team, like this at home when you're not clicking well on offense. Hopefully that's a good sign.
Were you surprised with the pace of the game, or are you proud of the way you guys kind of slowed it down a bit? I thought it would be a lot more high flying. Yeah.
We expected them to do that, but I think, our guards are pretty good in the open floor. So I think if you put our guards in the open floor, they can create some really good stuff. So pressing us might not have been the best thing to do. So that's probably why they didn't do it. And we took our time running our stuff. You know, we weren't coming down and taking quick, ill-advised shots. So we made them play defense for long stretches, and I think they, you know, they ended up having to play at our pace instead of theirs.
Gino, congratulations on the win, and
thank you.
Baylor's supposed to be next. We'll see where the schedule goes from here.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right.
Gino Auriemma, after his team beat the 18th-ranked DePaul Blue Demons by 23 points tonight inside Gamble Pavilion. Olivia Nelson-Ododa, the leading scorer for the Huskies, with 16 and 14. Solid win for the UConn Huskies tonight to move to 6-0, 5-0 in Big East play. Led by Paige Beckers with 18 and Olivia Nelson-Ododa with 16. And next up on the schedule on SNY is the January 9th matchup here at Gamble against the Providence Friars. Coverage starts at 12:30 Eastern Time. For Ed Como and our entire SNY crew at Gamble, Alan Bestwick sending you back to the studio to Gary Apple and Karen Walters for the postgame show.
All right, Alan, we thank you. Back to you and Meg just a little bit. We spent time, Kara, talking on our pregame show about who was going to dictate the tempo of this game. And when it was all said and done, it was UConn. They held the team averaging 88 points a game to just 52 tonight. And we heard Gino talk about it right there. He said, we really took our time running our stuff, and it really forced DePaul to play UConn's tempo tonight.
Well, I win because I talked about going into
yes,
the post. You said keep running, right?
Well, I said just don't let DePaul decide how this game unfolds. Do what you do because UConn's the better team.
That's right.
Right?
And they did a fantastic job. I'm all for the post play early and often. They got it in there to Olivia Nelson-Ododa. Aaliyah Edwards got involved when she was there, so they just crushed it with points in the paint. And what happened was, obviously, three people collapsed on Olivia, and then people were open from the outside. So they took their time. Typically, they like to run in transition. It's more of a fast break game. Tonight, it was let's slow it down a little bit. Let's work the ball inside, outside, cross court, that sort of thing. So definitely UConn dictated the tempo. They didn't get into a running game with DePaul. I think it surprised all of us a little bit that it wasn't as frenetic of a pace as I thought it was going to be against a team like this. But it worked in UConn's favor, and they are not the worst defensive team.
No, they're not.
In the nation.
They held DePaul 25% shooting in this game. You know what I realized is that you wanted credit out of the game here for the fact and you know what? I will give you the credit because you are right. They did pound the ball down into the low block from the beginning of the game, and
you knew that was good. Believe me, I'm not that good. That was pretty obvious.
Olivia Nelson-Ododa continues to get better. We saw it again with the 16 points and the 14 rebounds, and 8 of those rebounds on the offensive glass. So what's really impressing you about Ododa's play?
Well, I think her patience, and she's not getting frustrated, and shots that she's missed in the past, she's not kind of putting her head down and giving up on them. She's going for the second and the third opportunity, but I love her reads, right? I love the way she's reading a double team. She's finding the open person. She's being patient enough to know when to split a drive. I think her footwork is phenomenal. She's posting up extremely well. When the ball gets reversed, she pivots, and she steps in on the other angle on the other side to reverse the ball. So I think her footwork is great. I think her decision-making has been awesome as far as, like, am I going to shoot the ball? Am I going to kick it across the court? That sort of thing. So all those things are impressing me about Olivia. You can definitely tell that she's made strides, and there's a maturity in her game. And you can see it. Games like this in the past, it might have been oh, this game's too fast for me. Hey, and I also have to give Olivia credit on the defensive end. I thought this team would maybe go a little more zone if they had to protect Olivia playing against guards, and they didn't have to do that. Olivia did a good job of keeping her man in front of her, and they were able to play man-to-man.
She is a much more confident player. You talk about the fact that she's growing, and we're seeing it out there when it comes to Olivia Nelson-Ododa. And listen, we've spoken about the fact she has the ability to step away from the basket, which she does. Gino brings her out into the high poster, maybe even a little bit beyond that, top of the key, and that opens the floor. How does that change the equation for UConn?
And now you have somebody like Aaliyah Edwards, right?
Yes.
And I love when they're in together. I think at first it was kind of subbing for one another. Now there's opportunities to put them in together, and you can see that high-low game being created. Aaliyah Edwards is physical. She likes it in there. You know, Olivia Nelson-Ododa can step away from the basket where it's a little less physical there, but she's capable of knocking down that shot. So that opens a whole new world of things with the high-low. And obviously you have to respect that the big girl can knock down that shot, and you got to get out on her.
Well, you got a smile on your face anytime you mention the big girl. We heard Gino say how tough Leah Edwards is.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Gamble right now. Welcome back in Alan Bestwick and Meg Como. Guys, let's pick that up right there on Aaliyah Edwards. She was out last game with the sprained ankle. She was one of 5 UConn players in double figures. And Alan, I'll begin with you on this. When you see Aaliyah come into the game, what changes in your eyes?
Well, I think partly it depends on, is she coming in for Olivia or is she coming in with Olivia? When they had the two of them, I'll agree with Kara here on this one, Gary. When they had the two of them on the floor at the same time, that's like the immovable object and the irresistible force. You know, I mean, they just present such difficulty for opponents' teams who don't have the size to match up with them. And, okay, which one, how are you going to take them both out?
Yeah, and Gary, to your question, I mean, when Edwards comes in, she completely changes the complexion of the game. The strength that she plays with, the relentlessness that she goes after the ball to the rim, she, to me, is just so fun to watch because she plays so hard.
Meg, coming into this game, I was a little unsure how it was going to go defensively. Were they going to go into a zone because they played well against Villanova in that game doing that? Would they have to play zone to protect Olivia a little bit? Or would they play man-to-man? I thought they did a great job for being the worst defensive team in the nation. I thought they held DePaul to 25% shooting. Now, do you think that was UConn's defense, or was it just a bad shooting night by DePaul?
Well, I think it was a little bit of both, but I do think UConn's defense, I thought it was terrific, and they communicated really well. And Gino has discussed that with us and others, you know, in this early part of the season, that they don't talk, they don't listen. Well, they did a much better job of it today, and it definitely showed.
Yeah, and I think there were two things that they really wanted to make priorities tonight in defending this DePaul team. No open threes, make everybody have a hand in their face, and no layups. Mm-hmm. I can recall maybe 2 open threes the whole game, so the Huskies really did a good job of challenging DePaul's shots from outside, so I'll give them a lot of credit for DePaul's struggles from shooting.
I will agree with you on that. I thought they really were focused on the defensive end. Alan and Meg, want to thank you both. Happy New Year, guys. We'll see you in 2021.
Thanks, guys. Happy New Year.
Be safe. See you soon. Alan and Meg with us from Gamble tonight. Do want to focus on Paige Beckers for a moment right here, because according to the coach, Paige was a freshman tonight. But she still led them in scoring. She had 18 points.
Let's look at her stat line,
right?
here.
And she was 4 of 6 from beyond the arc. So what did Gino mean by the fact that she was a freshman tonight?
Well, at one point in the first half, right, he got up in her face and he said, shoot the ball. Poor decision-making by Paige. He wants her to shoot. Hey, girl, you got the green light from Gino as a freshman. Hey, more kudos to you. Take that shot. So sometimes she thinks pass first and shoot second, and Gino needs her really to take shots. That decision-making is really what he's talking about as a freshman with her decision-making. Clearly, her stat sheet shows otherwise. Didn't play like a freshman in the numbers game, but that's one of the things that she has to do. There's a couple things, believe it or not. She's not perfect.
Really? Paige, is it perfect?
There's a couple things. Her one-on-one defense, okay? Like, the whole team kind of struggles keeping their player in front of them. Turnovers. She leads the team in turnovers, so that's another thing. And taking more shots, so like knowing when to shoot and when not to shoot. So, I'm sorry to shock everyone at home, but there is room for improvement by Paige Beckers. And can you only imagine when you see that improvement?
Well, that's scary right there when you think how good she's going to get. She's 6 games into her freshman UConn career.
Right.
And that balance, Kara, of when to shoot, when not to shoot, when to try to create something, when to defer, does that just come natural? I mean, she's got great instincts, so she's ahead of the game to begin with. But how does that evolve, and what leads to that?
It's just time. She's a very unselfish player. And as a freshman, hey, I'd be like her too. I wouldn't want to kind of step on any toes. She's a great kid, a great teammate, very unselfish. But now she's got to know this team needs you, right? I mean, it's a different year. It's not like your normal year where you're coming in and you have a ton of seniors and you kind of defer to them. This is all different, all new, lots of new bodies. It's anybody's for the taking. So Paige needs to realize that. And she doesn't, I mean, you look at her stat sheet, it's not like she's taking 80 shots a game and not sharing the ball.
Yep.
Most times she scores a lot of points and has a lot of assists, with the exception of tonight. She did not have as many assists, but she's involved in all aspects of the game, and shooting, just do it, girl. Just shoot.
Well, listen, this is not a team that shoots well from downtown, but she's the exception there.
Yeah.
She was 4 of 6 from beyond the arc tonight. She's got confidence. And as you said, she's got the green light from Gino. And when you've got Gino's green light, shoot the basketball. Kara and I just getting going here on the postgame show. When we come back, go to hear Gino, his postgame address to the media. We'll hear from Olivia Nelson-Ododa as well, working so hard inside tonight. And we'll have complete game highlights. UConn, number 4 in America, knocks off number 18 DePaul, 75-52. Back in a gym. Gary Apple back alongside Kara Walters inside Studio 31 here in New York City. Gino Auriemma and company taking on DePaul. Olivia Nelson-Ododa going right to work. And, man, she was, Kara, relentless in there.
And fouled and kept at it like the big girl she's playing like.
And when you give that moniker big girl to somebody, that's heartfelt. From you, the original big girl.
The original big girl. That's props. But look at her in there. 3 people on her. She goes up not once but twice and finishes it.
UConn up by 4 after the opening quarter. Huskies continuing to exploit the size difference in the second quarter.
I mean, she reads that so well with the drop step. She sees the third coming, realizes she can split it, knocks it down.
And then inside out, there's Paige Beckers knocking down one of her 4 3-pointers in the game. And then Kristen Williams to Beckers, and that is a sweet stroke right there. UConn up by 11 at the half. In the third quarter, the lead was down to 6. Becker's going to miss the 3, but there's Olivia Nelson-Ododa working hard again.
She rebounded the heck out of the basketball tonight with the double-double. So not only working scoring, but on the board.
And the ability to face up here.
I like that. Big girl shooting from the outside makes her even more deadly.
Doug Bruno was not happy with what he, keep the mask
on.
Right? I mean, that's when you need the mask on. Nelson-Ododa setting the screen, and then look at Beckers, rolls to the basket. UConn just in complete control.
And Olivia Nelson-Ododa, she recognizes those triple teams now, kicks it outside. Kristen Williams knocks it down. Complete team effort.
Here goes Beckers, the ability to shoot on the run. I mean, not all players can do that, and she has shown that she can.
Well, and she creates with the handle that she has. Boy, she has great handle. Gino was pleased today so far.
Well, Gino, we heard him at halftime. He wasn't very happy, but things did get better in the second half for UConn. There's Beckers again from downtown. And look at the ball movement here.
And I love how Aaliyah Edwards, she sets screens and she rolls to the basket. She's got good cuts and dives, and she's very active.
UConn gets the win 75-52. UConn owning the paint. 38-12 was the difference in the paint. They had 21 assists on 29 made baskets. And when it was all said and done, Olivia Nelson-Ododa, another double-double, 16 and 14 rebounds. Back to Gamble we go. Here's Alan Bestwick.
Well, you get a matchup between ranked teams, and you need your experienced players to show out. Olivia Nelson-Ododa did just that tonight. Olivia, double-double. You were the dominant player in the ball game. Congratulations. What did you think of your team's effort tonight?
Thanks. I think we had a great effort tonight. Our main focus was our defense, considering how DePaul plays, and just trying to limit into their threes and also their drives. So I think, overall we did a good job of that tonight.
Olivia, you just have a presence about you in the low post this year. Do you feel like you have is it a different mindset? Is it the work you did in the summer? What is it about every time you catch the ball, you're either making a great move to score or feeling the double, triple team and kicking it like you did in the second half?
I think that's a combination of a lot of that. But also tonight, my teammates were talking to me, and realizing that they were double, triple teaming, it left 2-3 people wide open. So that was the main focus tonight, was just to get those wide open people the ball and move our offense like that.
Coach talked about as a team, your defense and how you dictated the tempo. Do you feel that defensively you guys are getting better?
Definitely. And I think, one of the key factors that we've been working on is communication. And I think tonight we were able to show that, we've been getting better at that, and we were able to get our stops and just limit them to the things that they were good at. And I think a lot of that was due to, our communication.
Congratulations on a great game and a great win.
Thank you.
Olivia Nelson-Ododa.
Right now, we get a check of double-double leaders in the Big East, and Olivia Nelson-Ododa second on that list. Tonight was her third double-double of the season. And as we were listening to that interview, Kara, I thought it was interesting. You said you don't sense a lot of egos on this team.
No, I don't. And that's going to be a huge reason for their success, because there aren't people that are like, look at me, what about me? They're trying to figure out how to do it collectively. And if you listen to Olivia, she said, yeah, my teammates told me that I was getting double and triple team. And she's receptive to that. She's not like, I know that. She's not that kind of player. She's like, all right, so let's work it inside, outside. So everyone's kind of receptive to like feeling it out together. This is going to be a team that everything's new to most of them, and let's do it together. So I love the no egos part is going to be a huge reason for them, their success, because part of that goes into their passing, right? Giving up a good shot for a great shot, that goes along with the egos and the unselfishness.
Right.
And you can't take that for granted. It doesn't happen everywhere.
Especially with a team full of All-Americans.
Right.
But that's what happens with good teams at UConn.
Right.
And I think we're seeing glimpses that this could be a special team.
Yeah.
Again, 6 games in. UConn now 6-0 on the year. They're 18-1 all-time against DePaul. Karen and I coming back just a little bit. UConn gets the win tonight, 75-52. We'll hear from the Hall of Famer Gino Auriemma just ahead. We're back in a moment. We get a look right now, tonight's stat leaders, and for UConn, Paige Beckers, despite the fact Gino thought she played like a freshman tonight, she still led the way. She had 18 points. Olivia Nelson-Adota, 14 rebounds, and Kristen Williams had 5 assists to go along with her 14 points in tonight's game. One of 5 UConn players in double figures. Let's hear more from Gino right now. The Hall of Famer, his post-game address to the media.
Hey, Coach, you've been emphasizing defense. You obviously have high standards for that. And over the last few days in practice, harping on it. How did you feel about the payoff tonight?
I think for what we were trying to do, I thought we got a lot accomplished. It was, it was not an easy assignment to guard them because they're a good team. They didn't look like a good team tonight. And we certainly didn't look like a good team either. And maybe their defense had something to do with us and our defense had something to do with them. But, we said going into the game that we needed to have a really, really good defensive night, that we needed to be on our game and we needed to force some, difficult shots. And we did. We did. We made a lot of really, really good decisions defensively.
How about your effort in the post? I mean, 16 and 14 for Olivia, 11 and 5 for Aaliyah Edwards in 17 minutes. How did they help complement each other?
In the first half, I thought Liv struggled a little bit with their double teams. I think we were a little bit of a hurry, to get a shot off, and talked about it a little bit at halftime. And I thought she was great in the second half with being a little more patient, letting the double teams come, knowing that they're coming, and then finding the open shooters so she could get more rebounds. I thought that was a really good move by her. Keep kicking it out and then get an offensive rebound. So, we did things a lot better in the second half, except shoot the ball.
Well, along those lines, you also told SNY Paige was a freshman today. How so?
How so? Well, she looked a little bit tentative. She looked a little bit unsure a few times. I think she's still not comfortable shooting the ball as many times as I want her to shoot it. So, if you look at the other 5 games she's played, and you look at tonight's game, tonight wasn't one of her better efforts, even though I'm sure if you look at the stat sheet, it's probably going to look great, probably 18 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, whatever. I don't even know. But I'm sure that's what it says. But I think if you asked her, she'll tell you she's not too happy about tonight's game that she played.
Alexa, you want to go ahead?
Hey, Gino. Going back to the point about Liv, just taking the last few games into perspective, how you said she's really needed to be a rock this season, and she's probably been, in some ways, more consistent than anyone else and more important than a lot of other people on the team. How have you seen her just continue to bring that consistency? Obviously, today, DePaul's not a team known for their size, but that's going to be really big too, looking ahead to next week with Baylor coming up.
Right. The teams that we've played so far, Liv's had a huge advantage, so she's been able to kind of have her way inside, and she's done what you need to do when we play, teams like that. I want Liv's perimeter game to keep improving. I think she only took one today. Took one shot from out there. I think that she probably needs to take more of them. But when you get to be a junior at Connecticut, consistency's got to be your middle name. You got to be there for us every single day, practice, games, every night. And, she's doing that. And that to me is, what the next logical step for her is. And Leah gave her a great help. Leah gave her some great minutes, because it takes a little bit of the pressure off of having, one more big defender, one more big rebounder. The two of them are functioning pretty well together.
Sorry, Carl, you want to go ahead?
Gino, you've told us how you feel about your team's shooting ability, but are you happy with the quality of shots that your team is getting in their offense? And to follow on that a little bit, how do you get Paige to shoot more when it's not really her nature to shoot first?
Well, I think we get pretty good shots. I mean, I don't think we took any threes tonight that you would go, that's an ill-advised three. That's a bad shot. So we took 27 wide open threes. So next game, we're going to try to get more open than wide open. I have to figure out what that one is. Okay. So what you go by is, are we getting pretty decent shots? The answer is yes. Do I think we can be a better shooting team than we are right now? Yes. Yes, we should be. We can be. But maybe we're not. And maybe I just keep thinking we're going to be. But maybe we're not. I don't know. As far as, and Paige is a really, really, really good three-point shooter. So if you have a really good three-point shooter that won't shoot or is thinking pass first, that's great. Provided the other guys that you're passing to are, Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. But since they're not available, I think she needs to shoot more.
All right, so we know Klay Thompson, he's injured this year, but we know Steph Curry can still fill it up. The question is, can UConn begin to fill it up? Paige is a terrific shooter from downtown. As a team, UConn shot 27% from beyond the arc. So Gino's not sure, but he thinks they're a better shooting team than they're showing. What do you think, Kara?
I think the team's always better than what he says, right? I think that the one thing I will nitpick about is their free throw shooting.
Yes.
They were 9 for 18, only shot 50% from the stripe, and that has got to change, especially because, like, Olivia's going to get fouled and go to the line. She has to knock down those shots. 30% from three-point land, he'll take it for a really horrible three-point shooting team. I don't think his team is as bad as he thinks, because that's just always the way Gino, that's how he rolls, right?
That's how he rolls,
But I think it's about decision making and, like he said, not being hesitant. If you're Paige, they're all capable of shooting, but if you hesitate, then you miss a shot. You're like, good shooters keep shooting. So I think it's the mental part of them right now. Physically, they get out there and take hundreds of shots every day. So it's kind of the mental of, like, we're all going in the same direction, and they're trying to figure out who gets the shots, who gets to, don't hesitate. That's when you bring your brain into it, that's when problems start. That's like Ray Allen, to me, was one of the best shooters, right?
Got it. Fired.
That's right. And he came off a
quick
screen.
Release.
He came off a screen low and ready, so all he had to do was then go up, right? He never went down and went up, and you didn't have to think about it. The less room for error, the better. So if they can just take their brain out of the equation and just do it from muscle memory, and that comes from practice.
Yeah.
I mean, the bottom line
Practice.
is practice. Allen Iverson didn't think you needed that, but practice. And they haven't had a lot of practice time, especially recently.
True.
They played a lot of games, so this team team just means more time on the court together as a unit and individually to work on their shots.
Yeah, but as Gino said, they're getting good shots.
They are.
Right? They're getting good shots. And you and I, as we're watching the game tonight, you said they're really good at reversing the ball and from the, the bigs, the diagonal pass where you can get some good shots. And they're getting good shots. They just didn't fall. But all of that having been said, they won 75-52. So they'll take the win over DePaul. Here's the upcoming schedule. Baylor is next. We're back here on SNY on the 9th against Providence. And then note the time change on the 13th against Xavier. That game has been moved up to 12:30 in the afternoon. And again, that's a game you can see right here on SNY. Not done yet here on our post-game show. When we come back, going to take a look at a milestone night for Kristen Williams. Kara and I back in a jiff. Here we go. It is the drive of the game. It is presented by Subaru. That's Kristen Williams getting to the basket right there. That is her 1,000th career point at UConn. She is the 49th player in UConn history to reach the 1,000-point milestone. So congratulations to Kristen Williams. It is our drive of the game, again presented by Subaru. So a milestone night for her. And the junior is really... Last 5 games, looking at the numbers, 21 against Seton Hall, 15 Creighton, 24 Xavier, 18 Villanova, 14 tonight. Yeah. What are you seeing from her?
Well, we like when she's aggressive, right? Takes
Yes.
it off the bounce, penetrates, that aggressiveness, because she's a big guard to get to the basket. But there's another thing. I guarantee you she had no idea she was near 1,000 points. Like, when we play, we have no idea. We just do it, and, later you're like, I realize that. The thing that impressed me, 8 rebounds and 5 assists on her stat sheet. So she was 2 for 7 from three-point land. At least she was taking them, wasn't knocking them down. But the rebounds and the assists to go with it, that shows how she's a strong guard. She can hit the boards, not just score. But you're seeing more movement from her and more aggressive play, and that's what you need from her. And we're going to say it all season long, consistency, right? She needs to consistently keep this going because, hey, a lot is expected of her. Big East Player of the Year coming in.
Yes.
I mean, there's a lot on her back.
I've got to say, one of the things I like about this team as we get set to wrap this up, they have all these different pieces, and they're all different.
Yes.
And they each have a specific role, and she has, the strength of a big guard. She can attack. She can knock down the three. That's a valuable commodity in in any college game.
I just had a vision of like Jumanji, what this player can do. They all bring an individual, what they do. And together, collectively, especially as they start to really know each other, this team just needs time because they're young. That's all they need is time. And guess what? They have that going forward, and they're going to be really fun to watch.
I think so. You and I could continue to talk about UConn basketball for the next 4 or 5 hours, but they're telling us we've got to get out of here. Hey, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Yes, you and your family, healthy, happy one. That's it for us. UConn gets the win, 75-52. Happy New Year to everybody out there watching. We're back on January 9th, our next game here on SNY, UConn taking on Providence. For all of us here, Gary Apple, so long from Studio 31 here in New York City.